What's going on, everybody? It's Mystic Rick. I'm your host. How's everybody doing today? Got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Let me go ahead and get some music going for you guys in here. Got some video game EDM today. What's going on? What's going on? All right, so we got our market watch. Bitcoin coming in at $34,050. I nailed me a nice little short yesterday. Ethereum coming in at $2,233. Binance is coming in at $306. And Cardano, the stubborn Cardano, $1.42. Dogecoin, of course, taking another beating. It's down to 23 cents. Come over here and look at BTC's down to 44% dominance. ETH is up to 18.3. Just 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back. Sorry. My kids had the giggles. It's like, hey, kiddos, I'm live right now. Yeah, it did, Samantha. Yeah, it did. And before we go into the deep content, I just wanted to, I hate exposing people, but here it is. I'm just gonna show you guys, right? So this is what my rant was about earlier. I'll show you guys here in just a second. And like I was saying, it's nothing wrong with obviously, influencers sharing each other's content and you see it a lot on the big channels where they collaborate. But if you're going to try to make it as though this is your research and you discovered this when this is my intellectual property, and what I mean by that is I researched out the full blown with coffee and logic, and then I drew a schematic that blew it up to show it what it actually looks like, because it's hard to understand with all the formulas and stuff in the way. So I basically dumbed it down and blew it up. And then I showed where certain influencers are trying to pull only parts of it and show it to you in the wrong spots, right? And if you tuned into Ryan Mata, yeah, he's right. Like the with coffee and logic was not designed to be used on the hourly and the 4 hourly and the 12 hourly and the 15 minute and the 30 minute. That type of trading didn't exist back then, right? Wyckoff designed this over 100 years ago for the purpose of showing how psychology works in the stock market. Now, does the overall schematic work? Yes, but not the structure. Okay, so what I mean by that is you can't apply it to price, right? You apply it by phase. And what I mean by that is a macro accumulation, a markup, a micro accumulation, a markup, then a massive distribution, okay? Because that's how price comes back down on a macro time frame, which is what he designed it on. It's not designed for a 4 hour, okay? And when they're trying to fit it specifically into price, It doesn't fit specifically into price. What it fits into is structure. So it's overall structure. But as you can see here, he clearly took this, right? If you watch my videos, if you are on a phone, if you turn it sideways, you'll see my watermark on the far right corner. Okay, if you're on a computer, you can see it. So what that means, and the reason why it's blurry like this, is because he took a picture of it with some sort of device. Okay, and then when several followers asked him to give me credit, he deleted the comments, right? He deleted my comments. And look at the date here, July 5th, right? His quote unquote what he's designed and show people. The only thing he did is he took a picture of it and drew a damn circle over it. But watch this. Let me show you something. Okay. This is the original file right here, guys. Okay. This is my original file. Okay. And it was a part of my digital asset mountain base aggregation and distribution theory. And of course, yes, I'm going to make another video on it. And you damn well believe that my watermark, my Mystic Rick watermark, will be thrown on it. Because this is just, it's horseshit. I'm sorry. And again here, right? I'll show you the file. Okay. Let's look at the file of, you know, when I turned it into a picture. As you can see, this is clear, right? This isn't something I you know, took a photo of from someone else. But let's look at the properties here. Who's the owner down there in the computer? You see my name is in the file name, right? This PC is creator of this document. Right? And this is the full blown with coffee and logic. You see how blurry that is? You can obviously tell I researched it and pulled it from somewhere else. But all these numbers and stuff in here were confusing, very confusing. And I didn't want my followers to be confused by all of that, you know, with them being like, hey, what is SOW and SOS and BC and AR and all that? It's too much. Okay. So I broke it down and blew it up for you guys. But I gave credit as to where I got it from. And I put these photos in here to show you guys where they're quote unquote pulling these other crap charts that they're showing you. Does that make sense to everybody? What I just showed you, right? And then he did it again in another video. He did it in this news rant too. Right? I mean, look at his title. Wyckoff points down while macro points up. Right? Look at this. I kid you not. He literally came over here and shafted my content and trying to use it as his own. Oh, he didn't delete yours, Samantha? Yeah, I'm gonna look at Samantha. Look at Samantha and see see if I can find you on here. See, he's got a yeah, Eth Maxi. Thank you. He says shout out to Mystic Mick. Yep, here's somebody. You actually stole that chart Mystic Rick made. Trying to see where. Are you sure he didn't delete you, Samantha? He definitely deleted mine. And that's when I knew it was mischief. So I filed a copyright complaint with YouTube. because it's not okay. Right? Look at this right here. You and the other influencers have been pushing this accumulation for over a month. Mystic Rick Crypto Picks did a video of the full chart logic over a week ago. It's kind of convenient you now talk about this when you've been hiding the whole chart all this time. Bro, I used to like your honest TA, but I think you stole this material from another channel. Or did you comment on the other video, Samantha? Because if not, he definitely just deleted yours. Yeah, Derek, it's all he had to do is just give me credit, man. Oh, she said on the last video. That's all he had to do is give me credit. Yeah, Mystic Rick Crypto Pick shared this chart. At least you should mention his name and give him credit. Exactly. Because I drew that myself. Matter of fact, Ryan will tell you, right? I messaged Ryan on Instagram with the actual picture after I finished it. Right? Derek's in this chat right now. I sent that chart to Derek a couple weeks ago. Right? Asking him if I should even post it because I was worried about the hate I would receive for releasing the real thing. Because, Moon Boys love to freaking come to the realistic channels and bash guys that are telling the truth. Yeah, and you guys, you heard Ryan talk about it during his lives. Like, hey, my buddy Mystic Rick, he discovered that these guys are out here just shilling you wrong parts of the chart and trying to make it fit in the wrong time frames. Again, like when I promised you guys that one thing you would get with this channel is the 1000% truth, I meant that. Right? If from my technical analysis, I feel an asset is going down, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you it's going down. Right? If I feel Bitcoin's going down, I'm not going to shield to you that it's going to 100K next month. Because you guys put a lot of your hard-earned money into trying to change your lives. And so it's not right. Okay? If I feel, after doing my research and due diligence, that a project has a 100 or 50 or 500 or 1000x potential, then yes, I'll tell you that based on what I've studied on the project, based on the numbers, okay, this is what's a realistic and potential price target. Musa says, hi, for the macro accumulation E for BTC, is there a possibility it can go lower to 17K, 18K for the accumulation? Musa, yes, especially if we go into the secondary markdown and then the S&P crashes. Hey, Frank, what's going on? Appreciate you, Frank. And yeah, everybody make sure to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, share my content. And again, this was just a really jacked up day. In a million years, I would have never expected, an OG of cryptocurrency influencers to do something like that. But you know what that tells me? They're running out of content. So they have to start stealing everybody else's. And it literally would have been no problem if he just said, hey, like I saw this TA from, another influencer, and this is what he found. Shout out to Mystic Rick. Boom, that's it. No problem. So what I'm showing you guys right here, right? is, if you see right here, the price of Bitcoin was overvalued on this day. Okay, so I'll draw this, make a shape here. So right here, make it white, and okay, so right here the asset was overpriced, or so overvalued 96 days before the actual trend break to the downside. This entire run, RSI had already peaked out months before price peaked out. This is a very rare phenomenon in any market, right? If you look at the other bull runs, it RSI went all kind of ways, okay? But this is a rare phenomenon of when you have price skyrocketing like this and it keeps going up past what the asset is actually valued, meaning that it's overbought, right? Right now, Bitcoin's value is about 15 to 17,000. Reason being is because the mining rate dropped so much. It was the largest drop in Bitcoin's history right now. So a lagging effect is going to come from that. So the reason why you hear influencers say the halving kicks off the run is because a halving makes Bitcoin more scarce because it reduces the rewards every 10-minute block to the miners. Okay? The miners are making their money by selling the Bitcoin because they have to offset those electricity costs. And so they're selling it based on what it costs them to mine. And so when you have a massive drop in hash rate, the difficulty of mining it goes down, right? China was mining about 73% of the total hash rate, and their power dropped 90%, right? So China's hash rate dropped about 90%. When you add that math in, it lowered the difficulty of mining Bitcoin, okay, by about 60 to 75%. So what that means is difficulty goes down, the price of the value of Bitcoin goes down in the mining realm. So that's why if a halving happens, they skyrocket their prices that they're selling the Bitcoin for, and then it's a trickle-down effect, right? There's more demand, less supply, price increases. And here, when price crosses below the RSI 50, which is the half line between 30 and 70, without true support, the incoming loss will be greater than the residual gains, and vice versa, right? So if you look right here, okay, look at the cross in price versus going under the 50 without true support. And what I mean by that is right here, right? It got a support bounce. And if you ask why, okay, there's lots of confluence in that support range. You just have to, when in doubt, zoom out. Okay, look at the confluence in this range. Okay, look at the confluence in this range. So that's why you got the bounce right here. But then when it actually was able to go past that, you have this dramatic, nasty drop. Okay, now here we went above it, but it met resistance on this macro downward trend line. And what did we do the other day? We double topped along this downward trend line. So eventually, right, what's going to happen is either we're going to come down here and test the 30, and it's going to be what causes that second markdown, or we're going to kind of keep chopping under, and then we're going to come through it and ride it and then bounce up. The time frame on that is unknown, okay? But a very nasty move to the upside or downside is coming soon, and it's about a 90% probability it's going to be to the downside. If you take our macro downtrend by using array, if you notice, and I'll zoom in here so you guys can see this up close. See how we went above? And this is a head fake, okay? This is a head fake. It's a fake out. It gets people to go long, and then the bots just liquidate you. Now we come down, we bounce off of it, we come back through it, it's another head fake. We come up again to retest the downward trend, and it's looking to play out as another head fake, okay? And it could always go above. Look at over here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 days above the trend line, and then boom, right back through it. And what we're forming right now on the daily, right? Price is hitting lower highs, RSI double topped. Okay. And where did it double top at? Right off of the midway point. So the bearish divergence is going to bring the price back below this trend, right? How low will it go? Well, it already came and tested 33.1 today. So it's already tested that level of confluence. I want to say we could come down and test we could come and test about 32.2, 32.3. Again, we're on the borderline of entering another markdown. Hey, Mr. Ed, thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody, make sure to hit that like button. And yes, I did get me a nice little juicy trade yesterday. Now, if I would have been paying attention, because I wasn't on my computer, I was just doing so much because I mean it was 4th of July. I saw the double top, and I talked to Derek about it. I was like, hey man, you know, RSI just double topped. You know, I was thinking about opening up a trade, and I just missed it, but I still got in and made some, you know, low profits on a scalp trade. Now, when you have purgatory whipsaw action like this, it is very difficult to trade that on a daily. Okay, this is the type of trade you take on a daily. This is the type of trade you take on a daily. Okay, this is the type of trade you take on a daily. Okay, this is the type of trade you take on a daily. This type of trade you take on a daily. This is the type of trade you take on a daily. And here. And here. This type of action can get you caught up if you are not an experienced trader, right? Because the reversals happen a lot faster during purgatory action than, for instance, all of this action, right? All of this action, all of this action, this major downside, okay? This major downside. It gave you a lot more time to basically be in a long or a short without, you know, having some instant reversals in price, right? And so right now, it's just coming right back up and down, okay? So this area right here will get you in trouble trying to trade it on a daily. Trading something like that has to be done on like the on like an hourly, right? You can catch this action on the hourly, but you've got to be good at getting in entries. Like you needed to get in down here, or if you could only catch this, right? You only caught this if you had an order already set in place. Okay. This is a good short entry. Short entry. Short entry. It's a good short entry. Okay. This is, you see this purgatory action on the hourly? That is questionable for a long. Right? It's questionable. See this action right here? This is this here, okay? This here, this here, this here, this here, okay? And where we are currently right now. This is the type of action that will get you liquidated if you are not an experienced trader. And I want to move that up here. There we go. So right now, Bitcoin is retesting the trend that it broke, okay? And this goes back to the 26th of June. So this is several days of action, right? You can obviously see that M pattern, bearish divergence right there. And if you look at RSI on the hourly between June 27th and yesterday, RSI 1, 2, it's micro, but it's in there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. It popped up to 78 times in 2 weeks. That's not healthy. But right now it's retesting that trend line, and it's been unsuccessful. I can zoom in so you guys can see that, right? You see that? It's been unsuccessful. Now, what you could do is you could do this, right? So you can see how the trend was clearly broken. You can just come in more. Does that help everybody see it better if I broke it down like that? Right? So trend lines depend on which time frame you're trading, right? You're not going to draw the same trend line on the hourly as you would on like the 8 hour, or you're not going to draw the same trend on a 15-minute if you're a scalp trader, that you would on the hour. You're not going to draw the same time limit on the hour as you're going to draw on the day or the weekly. Does that make sense? So I mean, this, if you had an order set down here, this would have been a good scalp trade. But again, if you don't know what you're doing, this is the type of action that will get you freaking liquidated, right? It will get you liquidated. Um, so again, because I saw it happen in time, right? Because I saw it happen in time, I was in on this action. And once it broke down, I could have kept it open, right? I could have kept it open. When it got into all of this nastiness right here, okay, just to play it safe, I closed out the trade. Again, it wasn't a daily trade. It was just a scalp trade. It wasn't a trade to keep open. So some might say, oh, scaredy cat, or oh, you should have, no. I wanted to take a scalp. I got in at a decent point. Okay. This is great peak formation to get in. But nonetheless, look how far it came down. So I was still in. I got out in a good range, made a nice juicy scalp, and I was out. I mean, I wish I would have caught this long candle right here, but it's really hard to predict nasty, a nasty dump like that. I mean, it dropped $1,102 in an hour. Right? That's a huge drop. Pedro says, market is confusing me still. We chop around, price won't go high. It dumps because nothing is happening and somebody wants out. Suddenly people want to buy even if we end up in the same spot. When you have influencers out there like BitBoy, who has almost 5 million followers across all social media platforms, he has now become a political aspect of the crypto space. That's why if you watch him do a video on a crypto project, within hours it's trending on CoinGecko. When he tells, and he has a cult like following, right? And if he tells his followers not to sell or to buy more or to buy the dip, that is exactly what they'll do, right? And they're getting wrecked because of it, right? Because he said we would never go below here again. Then he came back and said we would never go below here again. Then it did it, and he said or no, oops, undo that. He said 47K, right? He said 47K was the bottom and that it would never go below 47K ever again, right? And I'll show you where he said it at. He said we'll never go below 47K ever again on May 12th. And then we went below it the very next day. He says, oh, it was a fluke. It was only under it for 2.5 minutes. 2 days later, goes under it again. He said it was a fluke again, and then bam, the next day. And while we were up here, people were asking him, do you think we could ever go below 35K? And what did he say? He said, if we go below 35K, this bull run is over. So I want you to look at the difference. Right? We're right in a range where he said if we got below that price, this bull run was over. Now, look at something here. And this is significant for you guys to know. We're in the same region as where Bitcoin hit when it was considered overvalued by a lot. Okay? This all came from the devils that BitBoy invited to dance. The Michael Saylors, the Elon Musks, the Grayscales. That's what this comes from. So they were distributing on a macro level time frame. Bitcoin was overvalued back here. What more do people want? The asset literally did a 3x from the previous all-time high. What more do people want? And bull runs don't last forever. What goes up will come down. Okay. Let me see here. Mr. Ed says, a question about your mountain-based theory. If Bitcoin goes to 19K, which is about 40% from here, and normally the altcoins crash a lot more than Bitcoin, will some of the altcoins go down equal or less percentage than Bitcoin? A lot factors into that. Their liquidity, right? How much can actually be pulled out versus a market cap can be $1 billion, but only have like 100 million in liquidity. And it just matters how strong the project is, right? Look how stubborn Cardano's been to the dumps. But most of the altcoins in some ways, it's a relative drop, but they tail it, right? So, for instance, if Bitcoin takes a 10% drop, altcoins will typically take about a 12 to 18% drop. So that's why when Bitcoin dumped here, that's why you saw altcoins going 50 to 70% off, because Bitcoin fell a total of 49%, right? I think it was actually like 53% on certain exchanges, right? So think about that. If Bitcoin could basically fall 50% in a matter of 9 days, think of what that did to altcoins. Does that help? Pedro says, thank you. I guess I should pay more attention. I was told to ignore such noise and watch price action, but I thought my price action estimation was okay. Again, Pedro, it depends, right? If I'm trading on a daily time frame, okay, I can't watch the same kind of price action that's happening on the 30-minute, right? Because that's a whole lot of price action on a 30-minute time frame, right? You see all of this action? So I can't make trend lines off of this and apply them to me trading on time frames a lot higher than this, right? Trying to look at the 30-minute, but you're trading on the daily can get you wrecked, right? For instance, look at the difference in RSI, right? You see how RSI is down here? Now watch when I go up to the daily. All right, you see the difference? Pedro said BitBoy doesn't even do technical analysis. He relies on market cipher. Always surprises me when he says he is not an analyst. Yeah, yeah. Well, what's funny is when he tries to tell people stuff based on market cipher, but the creator of market cipher said get out in May. I remember that specifically. Up here, CryptoFace said get out in May and walk away. So CryptoFace got out in the 50s. I believe CryptoFace got out at about 56 to 57 ish. So granted, just because he created the indicator doesn't make him the almighty god of it. But he knows how to use it a lot better than BitBoy does. So maybe if he would have taken the advice of CryptoFace when he said, you know, get out, May, walk away, maybe his followers wouldn't have got dumped on. Not only that, there is a one of the live podcasts that he had, and he invited CryptoFace, and he's talking about manipulation, and this is the only reason why price is down like this. And CryptoFace said, "Nah, stop it. You guys invited the devils to dance, and now you want to scream manipulation. Okay, you invited the devils to dance, and now you want to scream manipulation." But yet you're telling everybody to go and, sell the man's, the Tesla stock and then to short it. At that point, you've lost all right to scream manipulation at all, BitBoy, because what you just did is a freaking big ass violation of the SEC laws. Because look it up, stock bashing is a crime punishable by the SEC. It falls under the Security Exchange Act laws. Just throwing that out there. No problem, Pedro. I'm always here for you guys, man. Actually, I want to look at Ethereum because I am going to open up either a long or short soon on Ethereum. And I want to check Ethereum out on the I want to look at Ethereum on the 4-hourly. Because it's making a nice formation here on the 4-hourly that I would love to use as a trade once it breaks the trend line. Right, you see that? Bounce, bounce, bounce. So I would love to see what that looks like once it finishes, because here this is why price dropped. Okay, this is why price dropped. It double topped, well, basically triple topped on the 70, and so of course you're forming that bearish divergence. But the reason why you've seen it bounce off of the 50 is because it's still riding this trend line. So when Ethereum can break that, undo that. When Ethereum can break that on the 4-hourly, that now again, you can't let it get one candle in and be like, oh, it broke the trend line, that's from opening my trade. You gotta let the trend confirm. Okay, and what I mean by that is you can have something like where is it? I'm gonna look at it here. So something like this right here, right? This is a good one here. Okay, you see this uptrend? Okay. And just because you seen this candle come below and you decide to try to open up a short and then immediately it goes right back up, you know, that's something that'll get you liquidated. So I'm going to open a nice juicy short when Ethereum can break this trend line on the 4 hourly. And I need to see, move that right there. Yeah, right there. So when it can break that on the 4 hourly, that's when I'll open up a short. This was a nice bullish divergence. I mean, typically you can use it, you know, um, you can use the support off of it to open along, right? So if you opened it here at 2000 and you rolled the long up, and when you saw this confluence in here, you got out about 2300. I mean, you know, it's a nice little juicy trade, I guess. But where I'm going to trade is when it pops below this trend line, or when um, when Bitcoin decides to take another nasty dive. Okay. So when Bitcoin can break below this trend is when I'll probably open another short. We'll see. It just depends on what it does, right? We got to bounce off of it. Bounce off of it. We've got our bearish divergence, and now we've had a bounce off of it. So if Bitcoin breaks this trend, that, I mean, because you got to think this goes all the way back to June 22nd, right? This is a several week trend. So Bitcoin breaks this trend line. It's going to be a free fall to try to test 30 and then to test 28. So that'll be a nice juicy short. And then if it comes underneath it, right, and for some reason tries to retest it and is successful with the retest, that'll be a juicy long. That help everybody? Yeah, no problem, Pedro. Mr. Ed says, thanks for your answer. It's just that I seen Crow and 88 crash a lot less than most altcoins. ADO is only about 60%, for VeChain is about 82%. Yeah, again, like, you got to think there's so much hype surrounded about Cardano, right? And it's easier to get to than VeChain, right? The average retail investor really doesn't have that much knowledge about how to purchase certain cryptos, right? They only know how to use a really basic exchange like Bitstamp, where you can just click buy how much you want and then it purchases it from your bank, right? Or Coinbase. You type in how much you want, click buy, and it takes it from your bank. But let's say you want to use, you know, a decentralized exchange. You can't purchase from your bank. Let's say you want to use a peer-to-peer exchange such as Gate.io or Hotbit. You can't purchase from your bank. You have to, for instance, purchase a stable coin in Coinbase, then you have to move it to the exchange and then purchase what you want. And so VeChain's harder to get to than ADA, but ADA is just, I mean, it's, you got to think it's created by one of the, you know, the, the top founders in the crypto space, Charles Hoskinson. So it's just a super strong project that fights a lot of the resistance of the market because it's that good of a project. And so is Crow, right? People are seeing all the benefits of owning Crow or staking Crow, right? Or getting the Crow Visa card. Mr. Ed, what you typically see fall the hardest during a major Bitcoin crash is your low market caps and like your meme coins, right? Um, Not saying that a top 100 can't make a massive crash when Bitcoin dumps, but they're more resistant to it than, let's say, a coin that's like 700th on the list. So I hope that helps. But yeah, when for me, right? For me, when Bitcoin can break this trend line, that's when I'm gonna open up a Hail Mary short. Doesn't mean I won't trade up here, right? Remember, what what becomes an M eventually could become a W. So if we look at Bitcoin on the daily, right? Oops. If we look at Bitcoin on the daily, right? See that line still works for the daily, surprisingly. And look at how it's, it's getting a lot smaller, okay? An ascending wedge. So if Bitcoin comes above it and closes above it, it'll look to ride this as support until the next crash, but it's not going to make it past. It's not going to make it past right here. So it's trapped within a trap, right? Resistance, 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 resistance. So that's why for people to ask, is 40K realistic again? Well, anything's always realistic if the fundamentals are there for it. So look at it as a staircase, right? It would have to pass several staircases with ceilings. Okay? Or excuse me, the staircase has several ceilings to get up here. Right? You even have another micro level of support right in here, or resistance. Right? So that's what Bitcoin would have to fight to get to those prices, to get up here and above it. With how weak the volume is in the market right now, that's too much work. But if it busts down under this trend and closes below it, it's going to be a nasty free fall. And yes, if you guys want to see where my horizontal line is for the mountain-based theory, okay, it's right here. Okay, and then your vertical cross is right here. So this is your cross, your phase E, your date. and 19.9 will complete the base of the mountain. Okay, so you see how you have your markup right here. That's your primary markup. This is your secondary markup. This is your primary markdown. And when it breaks, if it breaks and closes below this, all right, I want everybody to hear this. When the price breaks and closes below this trend I just drew, okay, and you can definitely screenshot it if you want to. When it breaks below this, this will be the attempt to retest and close the base of the mountain. Okay. This phase E is significant because this is right in a hub of a massive CME gap. Was that helpful for everybody before I move on? I just want to make sure everybody understands. So I bought 10,000 Crow at 8 cents. DCA's down to 2 cents. Nice, Mr. Ed. Nice. That's nice. Hey, Sam, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, you missed it earlier, Sam. I put DaVinci J15 on blast for you know, intellectual property theft of you know, taking a document that I created and showing it as though he found it and made it, you know, basically like he made it himself. So, you know, I don't, a part of me is pissed off. A part of me is honored that one of the OGs of the crypto space community is taking my content. Crypto Houston says, I'm going to probably just wait on Crow and jump in when it drops a bit more. I like the DCA method, but at the price, it's so cheap. Yeah. Crypto Houston. Yeah, Sam, give credit where credit is due. Like I said, I have no problem if I would have zero problem if he just would have said, hey, you know, I found this TA from Mystic Rick, and you know, it's great he found this, and I just want to share it, show my followers what's going on here. No. And then, you know, he wanted to, um, you know, he deleted all my comments asking him to give me credit. So what did I do? I opened a copyright claim. I showed everybody in this live today where I, you know, that is my document. You know, if Ryan, I sent it to Ryan's inbox back in June. Hey, thank you, Pedro. Yeah, I sent it to Ryan back in June. I sent it to my buddy Derek before that because, you know, I was pondering whether or not I was gonna post it or not because I knew a lot of hate would come from, you know, moon boys that didn't want me showing basically that a crash was coming. Yeah, I had the PowerPoint right here. Where is it? Where is it? Right. Go to see? I got the file right here. I was putting this stuff together in PowerPoint, and this is my theory, my mountain-based theory. And the reason why I made that is because I didn't want my followers having to stare at all of these formula garbage and have no idea what it meant. None. So what did I do? I simplified it for everybody and blew it up. Yeah. Well, Sam, what he did is he basically took a smartphone, because like these new phones, like for instance, my S21 Galaxy can take pictures in 8K, right? How everybody's just now getting into like HD and 4K. My phone will do videos and pictures in 8K. So what he did is he circumvented the watermark of my video by taking a picture around it with his phone. But if you guys see, especially if you're on your phone right now, if you turn it sideways, you can see in the bottom right corner, right, my YouTube content is watermarked. Yeah, YouTube gives you for a content creator option to watermark your content. So like my logo shows up um, down in the bottom right. You see a little astronaut. Jeez, what kind of music is this? Is putting me to sleep. Like what the? Let's play some royalty-free hip hop or something. This is just putting me to sleep. So it's, we can also look at the Keltner. All right, take a look at the Keltner. We can actually my Keltner was still on there. Okay, there it is. So Bitcoin hasn't even been able to make it up and test the top of the channel again. But look where the top of the channel is sitting right now. Right? It's sitting at 37. And look where 37 rides right into the apex of the trend line I drew and this resistance line. So it would be normal for Bitcoin to step up the ladder and test the top of this Keltner as it comes down to try to meet this line. Okay. Doesn't mean it has to, right? As you can see back here, it tried to come back up to test the top, unsuccessful. Tried again, couldn't even meet the halfway point. Tried again, couldn't even meet the halfway point. And then it finally was successful and bounced right off the top as resistance. And look at where basically it was. Okay, can't make this up. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, you see that? Not even a dollar over it. And so as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 uptrends, and not one was able to retest the top of the Keltner. So that's how weak Bitcoin is right now. And you see on the daily time frame, okay, we're in this ascending triangle, but not by a lot, right? You see how little price action that is, okay? It's trapped in a zone, and you had better know what you're doing if you're trading this, right? Or actually, what we can do is we can do this. Let's turn off the Keltner, and we can do this. Okay, so this box that I just drew for everybody, and I'll change the color because that's just really ugly. Okay. Bitcoin is going to make a run to try to test these or make a attempt to bust down underneath this massive upward trend line before it reaches the end of this box, which is 12 July. And actually, no, it's not 12 July. Sorry. Meant to go out here. The apex of the upward trend line and the top level of resistance. Okay. So 28 July, it will make a massive move up. It will make a massive move down before reaching 28 July. If the move is up, it's going to be a retest of, well, first the heavy retest is going to be, like I said, the 37,000, the 38,000, and then you've got 39 and 40, right? Um so if we come below, I'm trying to think of what I can use to draw this. Looking for the where's the chat bubble? Is it a call out balloon? Maybe. What the heck? Thought I drew a. Wasn't this supposed to be a bubble? Well, I guess it was a bubble. Just gotta there we go. And then oops, I didn't mean to lock it. What is going on here with this thing? So we're gonna delete that because I don't like whatever the hell this little bubble thing is. Okay, that's better. We can make this yellow, text is black, borders yellow. Yeah. There we go. And we can move this right here. Okay, so if BTC breaks below this trend line prior to the 28th of July, it will retest the lower low for the macro downtrend. All right, it's supposed to say the lowest low. Not the lower low. The lowest low. And then I will point that out. And then put a price label. Can you not swing price to the left? I'm trying to look how to swing it to the left. Like move the anchor to the left, but I guess it won't let me. Hold on, guys, trying to make sure I'm getting this right. I don't want to mislead you on that. Okay, there we go. All right. Hope that's helpful for everybody. If you guys want to, save that to your screens, you're more than welcome to. Jeremy Isaac, yeah, man. That's what I told everybody. Yes, Mr. Ed. It was my video, Bitcoin Untold Truth about the Wyckoff. I hit the same scalp and took it out 34.3 as well. Was pretty happy with it. Yeah, nice, Jeremy. Nice. Okay, so yeah, this is why I tell everybody, hey man, go over to those. He did it in 2 videos, right? He did it in his daily video and then his news rant video. You know, so like I encourage everybody, like go just pay him a visit, let him know what's up. Like stop scalping my content. Just like I hop on BitBoy and tell him to stop scalping Ryan Mata's content. You know, like for instance, you know, like when I tell everybody to, you know, hey, go sign up for Ryan's course, or hey, you know, go use Ryan's, you know, DCA strategies, go use his, go download his DCA matrix. Like for instance, this is my cryptocurrency tracker, okay? And I also have a DCA matrix on here. And so when I created my DCA matrix, as you guys can see here, I liked some of the math that Ryan had. But again, right, does my tracker look like his? Or did I give credit to somebody but still make it my own, right? I don't want to be showing something on my channel that someone created with their, it's their intellectual property, and then be flashing around DCA like it's my own. So what did I do? I made it my own. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? For instance, right? Mine is plugged directly into databases, right? So if I hit refresh price, it tells you exactly how much AMP is worth right now. But let's say I want to change it to Cardano. Watch what happens here in this current price. Boom. And look what it did to the percentage, right? So I wanted to take something and make it my own. And it's like that for all of my coins that I'm DCing into, right? Cortez is actually 75% off right now, so it's a great buy. Nano, Binance, Bitcoin, Cardano, and then an overall portfolio tracker. It's just really hard to see right now where my profits are because Baby Doge just skyrocketed for me, so it's like hiding everything else. And then some of these other coins I still got to put all the data in there for, right? But there you have it. Right. So yeah, like if you're gonna take something and show it to other people, give credit where credit is due. Um, but I always was taught to take something a little bit farther, right? If you're gonna take the ideas of somebody else, or you're gonna take the intellectual ideas of, principles of someone else, make it your own. Right? Think of it as a paper, right? If you're trying to get some ideas on a research paper, and I say, hey, hey Sam, I'm gonna send you a template of, a stellar research paper, right? Don't just permanently use the template I gave you. Improve it, make it your own. But damn sure don't just use the content that's in the template I gave you. Right. So I'm getting ready to go. I gotta go kick it with my little ones, and then I am off. But I hope everybody was able to learn something in the live today. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section after the video finishes. Again, I really appreciate everybody for showing up. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure to bring all your friends and family in here. And I really hope that this channel helps you guys to learn more things in the future as I take time to study everything about cryptocurrency. Thank you, Sam. Have a great one. All right. Mystic Rick is out. Let it go.